Welcome back to Sin City. My name's Jason, aka the Sin City Bartender. Today we're still making cocktails from Oga's Cantina. Today we have the Bespin Fizz featuring dry ice, which gives it that beautiful, smoky, cloudy feel, which is just perfect for a Cloud City cocktail. The official recipe, which I'm going to list below, features Bacardí Superior rum. They didn't specify. Unless they specify, you're always going to want to use white rum. It's the most base spirit when you're shaking and mixing and blending cocktails. Next up is a Yuzu Purée. I hope I'm saying that right because I've never had one. Pomegranate Juice. And finally a White Cranberry Juice. So this one's on the easier side and it's super easy to make. Let me teach you how. For the most part, this is a rather simple cocktail. We have a base spirit of white rum. There's not any other liquor in here, so we're gonna start with 2 ounces of that. 10-to-1 is probably my favorite white rum. It's great for mixing and it has a really smooth taste to it. We're gonna do 2 ounces. Now this next ingredient is Disney trying to be unique again while really not putting in that much effort. The recipe now calls for white cranberry juice. Now as far as I know, there's no difference between white cranberry juice and regular plain old red cranberry juice besides looks. Maybe it's slightly less bitter. As far as I can tell, whenever I've tried it, they're the exact same. So I'm gonna stick with my regular cranberry juice. I'm actually using diet because I like a little less sugar in my cocktails on occasion. But let's do just 1 ounce of this. And this is another cocktail that calls for pomegranate. Someone who designed this menu really likes pomegranate. No complaints here, I love it too. Let's do 1 ounce of pomegranate juice. And this is what's gonna give it that beautiful color once we shake it. Now again, this is the budget version. This is the at-home, average Joe cocktail mixing. They call for a Yuzu Purée. I don't know what a Yuzu fruit is. I bought this Yuzu juice at a local Korean market. I've never had a Yuzu fruit ever, so I'm gonna give it a try, see what it tastes like. It's a little more on the sour side. I'd say very comparable to like an orange or a grapefruit. It's absolutely delicious. We're gonna do 1 ounce of this. Maybe a little more, that's really good. Now because a puree is usually pretty sugary, we're gonna supplement that with just 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. And that should get it to the desired sweetness we want. Now we add our ice. And we shake. Normally when I make a cocktail, I fill the glass completely full with ice. We have to leave a little bit of room for some dry ice after we pour. So let's pour. And I gotta be honest, this looks absolutely perfect, but we need the dry ice to complete this cocktail. So I have just a very small piece of dry ice to throw in here. It's not gonna ruin the drink. We will have to wait for it to melt because it's not safe to consume any dry ice cocktail that is still bubbling. Do not do it. Be patient, otherwise just don't use dry ice. And a fun fact that a lot of people don't realize is you can get dry ice just about anywhere. Any grocery store should have it. I got mine at the local Kroger. They sell it by the pound. I think this was I think I only paid like $2 or $3 for what, a pound of it. So really good deal. Let's throw that in. Maybe give it a little stir. And that is a beautiful Bespin Fizz. I think we nailed this. I'm starting to think that the dry ice is absolutely worth it because, I mean, come on, that's magical. Before we try it, obviously we're gonna have to wait for this dry ice to melt, but we can just admire it in the meantime. Now you have to be very careful with this because the dry ice looked like it was completely melted because it landed on an ice cube. If you stir it around, you'll see that there's still dry ice in there. The last thing you want to do, I promise guys, is to get a piece of dry ice in your mouth. All right, so the dry ice is melted. Let's try our Bespin Fizz. It's really good. It's exotic tasting. It's a rum-based cocktail, but I'm not really feeling like a Caribbean vibe, which is nice because I feel like anytime you have a rum cocktail, people tend to just go, oh, a bunch of tropical. And they all end up tasting very similar, whereas this, the cranberry, the pomegranate, the yuzu, it all does really well. I'm super impressed with this. Definitely my favorite cocktail that we've remade so far, and I want to say this is probably the most accurate to what's at the theme park. I think theirs might be a tad sweeter. That's easily fixable with the simple syrup, but overall, this is definitely the best one we've done so far. So the Bespin Fizz is absolutely a win.